Felicitous greetings, fellow fanatics. Welcome back one and all, I'm Adam today, and today we're going to be comparing Sushi Go Party to Sushi Roll. If you can only get one of these games, which one should you pick up? Before we begin, I would like to give a brief thank you to my sister Melissa for making this t-shirt for me. It is not official Sushi Go merchandise, but she wanted me to have something that fit the theme all the same. Without any further ado, let's begin with a brief overview of each. First released in 2013, Sushi Go is arguably the title that put Phil Walker-Harding on the map. Published by Gamewright, it quickly became a big hit as a simplistic drafting game that could be enjoyed with family or hobbyist gamers alike. However, it was completely obsoleted in 2016 when Gamewright and Walker-Harding worked together again to update it for the release of Sushi Go Party, an enhanced version of the game that brought back everything the original game had and added a slew of new options for added variety, including increasing the max player count from 5 to 8. All future mentions of Go in this video will refer to the updated party version. If you just want to play the original Sushi Go with more players and a score track, Party gives you that option, but also many more. Before starting each game, you'll construct a deck which always includes nigiri, 1 of 3 rolls, 3 of 8 appetizers, 2 of 8 specials, and 1 of 3 desserts. This means that at a minimum, it'll take you 4 games just to see all the different cards on offer. Turns are played simultaneously with hands dealt at the beginning of each round. Each player chooses 1 card, places it face down, and passes their hand. Once all players have chosen their cards, they reveal them and add them to their tableau. Every card has different effects on scoring. Nigiri simply give a straight 1, 2, or 3 points, but can be enhanced by wasabi to triple its value. Dumplings increase in value with every additional one you take. Onigiri has 4 different varieties. Collecting the same onigiri doesn't increase their value, but getting different ones will increase in value by squares. Edamame goes up in value as more players have them, while Maki rewards the players with the most of them in each round. Chopsticks allow you to play 2 cards on a future turn, and the menu lets you draw unused cards from the top of the deck to try and find something that wasn't dealt out. The round continues until every card has been played out, at which point any dessert cards are set aside for later, but everything else is scored for that round before being shuffled back up for 2 more rounds. After 3 rounds, players total up their score, including desserts, and the player with the most points wins. Fast forward another 3 years to 2019, and Gamewright and Walker-Harding once again worked together to bring out a spin-off of Sushi Go, Sushi Roll. While clearly based off the former title, Sushi Roll naturally has significant differences to make it work as a dice game. The game is still divided into 3 rounds of drafting, wherein each player will randomly draw dice from a bag, then roll them and place them onto a conveyor belt piece. This will be important in a little bit. Starting with a player with the red conveyor and going clockwise, each player chooses a die to keep, then the conveyors are shifted around to the left. Everyone rolls the dice again, and the process repeats until all dice are used. Dice represent different categories from Sushi Go Party. White dice are nigiri, and once again, simply give a value of 1 to 3. Red dice are maki, and once again, give points for having the most at the end of each round. Purple dice are appetizers and can end up being dumplings, tempura, or sashimi, going up in value as you collect more of the same type. Dumplings are worth the least, but appear the most often. Conversely, each die only has a single sashimi side, but they're worth 13 points if you manage to grab 3 of them. Pink are dessert dice and will give you pudding tokens, which are counted at the end of the game. The green dice are specials. 2 sides will give you wasabi, which triple the value of the next nigiri you claim, much like the card game. However, you also have menus and chopsticks. You start the game with some tokens for each, and these dice allow you to grab more of those tokens. On your turn, you can play a chopstick token to swap 1 die on your conveyor belt for 1 on another, or you can play a menu token to re-roll any or all of your dice. As before, you'll score each round except for your desserts, and at the end of the 3rd round, you'll compare those to see who has the most, with the highest total score winning the game. So how did they compare? Both are pretty light games, especially when using the simpler cards from Sushi Go. They're both easy enough that you can play with non-gamers. You can probably even play with children who are still learning to read. That being said, Sushi Go Party does have options for more advanced play with cards like Onigiri, Special Order, and Fruit giving you options for a more thinky game. It still never gets past lightweight rules, but it does add a lot more strategic depth. If playing with 3 to 5 players, both games seem to work equally well. But again, the card options give Go the edge in 2-player games, and of course, 6 to 8 players isn't even an option for Sushi Roll. Both play pretty quickly, and you can probably fit a game into half an hour, with teaching only taking about 5 minutes for either option. Roll does naturally have a bit more of a luck element, as re-rolling the dice means that you never know if the dice will come up with the sides you want each time. That is, of course, if the dice types in question are even available in the first place, and tempo can sometimes feel a little smoother in Go thanks to the simultaneous turns. Component-wise, the games are actually pretty different. Obviously, Go has cards while Roll has dice. Go also includes a score track with wooden bottles for players to keep score, as well as slots for tiles to remind players of which cards are in the deck this game, and what all of them do. Roll, on the other hand, uses tokens to keep track of score, while each player's tray includes a summary of all dice and what each of their sides do. Roll also has a bag to mix up the dice while drawing them, which also has a drawstring so you can easily store them. Go comes in a tin that has space for all the cards to be stored with their matching tiles, making setup and cleanup a simple task. Roll really doesn't have much of an insert, though to be fair, it really doesn't need one. The bags are enough for the dice and tokens. So if I could only have one in my collection, what would it be? For me, the winner is Sushi Go Party, hands down. That's not to say that Roll is a bad game. If it had an expansion or two, I could see them being on equal footing. But the biggest difference between them is the variety that's afforded by having the different meals you can set up the deck with in Sushi Go Party, whereas Sushi Roll will always be the same game. If comparing the original Sushi Go to Sushi Roll, they'd be much more equal, but considering that even Sushi Go Party is slightly cheaper than the MSRP of Sushi Roll, even then I'd still have to recommend Go over Party for that alone. Of course, maybe you just have a heavy preference for dice over cards, or the other way around, in which case, why were you even watching this video to begin with? You knew exactly what you were going to go with. But regardless, as for myself, the clear winner here is Sushi Go Party. Of course, Sushi Roll is currently out of print and may become harder to find in the future, so that is something to consider. If you're interested in purchasing either of these titles, my first suggestion, as always, is to check with your friendly local game store. If you can't find it in stock, or simply wish to learn more, links are included in the description. But what about you? Which sushi game do you prefer? What drafting titles do you enjoy? If you have any questions, remarks, or posting points of view, leave them in the comments down below, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell. If you really enjoy my work, please consider funding my channel on Patreon. Until next time, farewell, fellow fanatics. Thank you again for watching. I have plenty more to share with you if you're interested. You can click up here above my head to subscribe to my channel. You can click over here on my monitor to see the most recent video that I've worked on. Or if you prefer, you can click up here to open this mysterious vault and see what video that the YouTube algorithm has picked just for you.